Good morning, happy Friday. I'm just getting started with my day very early. I usually on Fridays just do this live when I get my act together, and I had to get my act together really early today because my husband and I have tons of plans. And before I get started, I thought, I gotta show you this really cool stencil set. This is in the current September, October catalog. And I believe the thin cuts to this set here are sold out. So I could be wrong. I didn't check this morning, but I think they are. Here's the thing about this page. This embossing folder, which is amazing on its own, coordinates with these stencils that I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to show you this today. And then the set that's below it doesn't match up with this. It would have been very cool if it all kind of coordinated together somehow. But I can tell you that this is not my favorite poinsettia flower set, because what I love is I love the holly berries and leaves. I love the words. Awesome. I love that word believe. As you know, I've used it a couple of times. But the flowers, I wish they would have made them in a way that they could be layered a little better. I'm sort of on the fence on that one. I've used it several times and not always successfully, sometimes mostly successfully, but so here is the examples that they show in the catalog, and I really like them all. They're very nice. They have one card that is just embossed, and then the stamp set is kind of put over it as a main image. Here it's embossed and sanded, and it even looks like the flowers might be inked just a little bit. If you look in your catalog, you can probably see it. On camera, maybe not so much. And then this one, these two are both embossed, and this one's just stenciled. This one is embossed and stenciled, I believe, if I remember right. I could be wrong. They could both be embossed. When we do the catalog walkthrough with Close to My Heart, Monica shows us all this artwork up close. I know, I'm so early. I have this plan. I've been dying to go to the zoo. My husband and I have been talking about it for like, I don't know, 2-3 months. It's ridiculous. And so I told him today's the day. If we don't go today, we're not going to make it, because we have plans like every single weekend that he's off from here on. So I think we're going to drive to Indy today instead. We were thinking of Brookfield, but I think we're going to go to Indy. Okay, so here is the stencil set. It has a top layer that does just like the flowers and the I'm going to move it closer. I don't know how well you can see it. There you can see it. The flowers and the little, what do I want to call them? Balls, beads, dots, berries. Berries works. Okay. And then there's flowers with leaves with the stems, which in my opinion are 2 different colors. So, I'll show you that. And then the detail one, where you get the detailed details of the flowers, details of the stems. And so there's 3 different layers, and they work pretty well together. And then the matching, this matches perfectly with the embossing folder. Now, the embossing folder on its own is gorgeous. I went ahead and embossed a few panels so that I could play a little bit. and you can see the detail in it is really, really pretty. Makes a great background, and it could be really light, it could be really dark. You choose. I think today I'm going to do something a little more traditional. I haven't even done anything traditional with it yet. Here's what I have made, because you know what I love with, I love those light colors. So this is like, Seabrook and Capri. The flower is Seabrook, okay, which looks like a blue, but it's really that blue-green color. And then I put Capri for the detail over the flowers that are in blue. And then the leaves, I did in sage, and I tried not to hit them with my detail brush. I just left them green without the extra color over them to give them the veins or whatever. And then this is done in espresso, and then the little berries are done in mist. So I used a lot of stamps, or a lot of inks. And then on the top, you might notice, I don't know if I can get you to see it, but there's shimmer all over the flowers. And at the very end, I took my Stickles glitter gel through the top layer. You know, I just laid it on there. And I just put Stickles all over it. So the Stickles, now, it'd be super easy to do that without doing it such a hard way. I could have just used my finger and gone over the top. I think it would have been fine. But the way I did it, it allowed it to be just a little thicker. And Stickles glitter glue would work just fine for that. But I love the glitter of it. And I love the shimmer of the shimmer trim. And you might notice there is a plaid, of course. Let me show you my plaid. So I've made a couple of plaids that I thought, oh, let's play with some of those, you know, plaid stencils again. You know, the ones that are in that special right now that have it has the wide diagonal and the skinny lines, and you can turn them and crisscross them to make different plaids. And I really, really love how those plaids are turning out. And I like breaking this image up a little bit. And see, now I can just do an image here or a message here and be done with that, right? So that's my plan. We'll see. Now, it just so happens I have an extra of this Christmas floral and stencil. It has both the embossing folder and the set of stencils, and it retails for, I want to say, like around $16. I can't remember exact price, $15.95, $16.95. Anyway, so I figured up my cost with shipping and tax, and it's $14. So if any of you want a deal on one, you haven't bought it yet, this one is for sale for $14. I don't know what is wrong with me to keep buying stuff twice. I'm usually very, very good at not buying things twice, and for some reason in this particular catalog I did it. I don't know. All right, so there's the embossing folder in case you need to see it. Pretty. All right. Now, I put this black sheet down just so you could see the stencils that I used, because there's the stripes. I think you can see them on the black better than any other like white background. Let's see. What I really like about those stripes is that you get, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my black paper. You get the like slimline and the regular size. I like that. Okay, I had my sticky stamp mat, and I have one of these images that I'm just going to turn it sideways. And then what I did was I just grabbed a bunch of inks. I haven't played with this in traditional colors yet, but I like to do a two-tone of each color if I can. And so I thought that Desert Rose is kind of a weird fall color. It's kind of a pinkish, it's almost got a little gray in it or something, but it really, I think it'll work really well as a softer version of Scarlet. And so we'll probably start with that. And then for the green, I have Sage because I love the softness of Sage and I like it with Pine. It's a nice combo. And then I have Espresso and I have Mink. Now I'm not sure I'm going to use Mink or not. I haven't decided, but it kind of goes with all of my other colors, and I thought I'll pull it out just in case, right? The other thing that I have is, that's kind of a gadgety thing, is I have my little silicone mat so my ink pads don't scooch. And I have my Close to My Heart holder that holds all these crazy little stencil brushes. Now I broke down and bought a whole bunch of expensive, I should say, stencil brushes. But I have a whole lot of cheap ones. These are from Amazon. I think they were like $6. You can get them at the dollar store for like $1 a piece, $1.25 or whatever each. And so that is something that I use all the time. I love the Close to My Heart ones. They are amazing. They're this size. This size I find is too big. It's a makeup sponge, and the Close to My Heart size is, you know, like 1 inch wide, and it's perfect for the shading that I like. But I have like, I don't know, 10 or 15 Close to My Heart ones, and they're all in different colors. But for red, what I found is I needed a smaller brush all the time, and so I used the smaller makeup one. So that's why I have it. It's not because I like don't like the Close to My Heart ones or something. That's ridiculous. I have my junky microfiber towel that is, every time I stencil or anything, I like to have it nearby to clean up my mess. Okay, so we'll start with stencil 1. I know stencils, you might be getting kind of sick of stencils. I understand. But they're here, I think they're here to stay for a while. And so I'll be showing them in the next catalog. There is a really amazing stencil set. There's a couple of them, but I'll probably just be showing one of them. But I love showing the versatility. Now, the one thing about the Close to My Heart stencils is they're not bigger than the card base, which is annoying to me because I can't stick them down on my sticky mat, but the sticky mat holds my paper in place, which is something. And then technically, I really should just tape this, right? Okay, check it on scratch paper, make sure my color is off. All right, I'm using the Desert Rose, and I'm gonna tap it off just a little. I'm gonna start at the center of my flowers and make circles and head outward. Now, with the flowers and the berries, I couldn't decide if I wanted my berries red, because they are red, or do I want them mink, because that'll give it more softness. But I'm going to stick with red today. So you can see I'm starting at the middle, and if I do it both directions, I don't just hit one edge. You can kind of see like you get a dark edge if you only go in one direction, right? So I am kind of going for an all over, not shading, just an all over vibe over the flowers. And it goes pretty quick. What do you have planned today, Heather? I have been trying to talk Steve into going to Cake Bake. Have you guys heard of Cake Bake? It is a restaurant in Carmel, Indiana. And it's a bit pricey for us, but it's like a really well-known, it has such good reviews, and I just keep hearing good things about it. And so I'm dying to go, and he agreed today. And I'm on Weight Watchers. I've been doing Weight Watchers for a few months now, and I've lost so much weight that my clothes don't fit very well. Desert Rose, done. Switching to Scarlet. And in between colors, I like to wipe my brush just so I don't contaminate. Oh gosh, that's amazing. Like a sidewalk, going the whole length of your house, because our neighborhood doesn't have sidewalk. And it really, they talked about putting in sidewalks in our neighborhood, and then what they did was, instead of the city paying for it, they want us to pay like $800 or something to do it. And we're like, what? We've gone without it for 30 years. I don't think I'm going to pay another $800 for a sidewalk. Okay, so I'm just going light. You can see I'm just hitting the center of the flowers. And I'm doing a circular motion so I don't just hit one area. And I'm really kind of just using the tip of my brush, not the whole flat of the brush, just the end. And trying to get the center a little darker than the edges. Reline up if I would just tape, right? If I would just tape. I'm so lazy. Anyway, so today I was gonna wear jeans and put on a really cute fall outfit, and I put it on today, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that my jeans fell off of me. I was like, what? I had no idea. I had no idea, because I wear like leggings every day, and even though they're a little baggy, you know, it's like whatever. All right, I'm just gonna lift that and look at it. Ooh, I like how that looks. Now, if I wanted to go a little darker, I could and hit it right in the center, but I'm not going to. But I am going to use the Scarlet and go over the berries a little more. I just want a little more pop out of those. I keep lining these up. What's your plans this weekend, Noelle? Jen and I made our COVID appointment at Walgreens for Sunday. I had to wait. I wanted to go with Jen, and we had to wait until she was going to be off work for a couple days. She works for a very, I want to say, woke company in California. And the reason I say that, they're super like liberal, right? And so they do all kinds of stuff that other places around here just don't do, right? Okay, I'm gonna keep that stencil in place and just wipe it off because it's really inky, just so I don't make a big old mess everywhere. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was, right? Stencil 2, leaves, and it takes me a minute to line this up. And this one's pretty easy to line up, but sometimes you have to flip it. They're not really marked because you can use them in different ways, and so there's not always a front, a back, a right, and right, you know. So, okay, put my reds away. Let's go with a light sage green And let me check my green. I need to wipe it off. I know. Ugh. But it is kind of true. It's like, okay, so the government has still sent them COVID funding. I don't know how they're still getting COVID funding, but they still have it. They're in California, and they have told their employees, I know this is probably not a right thing to do, but basically they said they have to use that funding. And so they told her to go ahead and take the day off or whatever after her COVID shot, because so many people feel bad after they get the injection. And I'm like, that's just the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. But I think they're trying to use up their funding. So, and she's not the kind of person to call in unless she's really sick. So I don't think she's really going to call. I don't know. Lately the suicide rates are really high. The call rates are really high. See how I did that super soft and I did not do the stems because I want the stems brown. I just think it looks better in brown. But anyway, so I'm going to use a little bit, now I'm going to switch to one of my tiny brushes because I want to show you, I want to do a little detail, and these just get into spaces a little better. Let me see. I want to show you, see how this will be on top of it, and it has a lot of detail. That's our next stencil. So I'm just going to kind of hold this in place, and I'm just going to shade these leaves just a little bit. Anyway, so we waited. We're going to get our COVID shots on Sunday. I was on the fence about getting it because the hospitals around here aren't even requiring it for their employees, which is shocking. Especially since they've been, they make a really big deal about call-ins, and they are short-staffed all the time. So it just seems like they would pay for that, but maybe they'll change their mind. Okay, let's see. I've heard a lot of the insurance companies are changing their mind about coverage. I called and my insurance company covers 100%, no copay. So I was like, okay, I'm going. All right, so I'm still on the pine green, and I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pounce into just the leaves. Now I would do the swirly thing, but I'm a little nervous about, I don't want to get into these things I want brown. So yeah, she does good work, but I'll tell you what, Heather, she's tired. This last month has been kind of rough. And so I told her, I'm like, even your supervisor told you to just call in. It's not like you're gonna get in trouble. And we have such a work ethic in our family. It's very strong. And so the idea of calling in when you don't need to kind of makes her sick. So I don't know what she's gonna do yet. All right, so I have espresso and mink. I think I might go back to the stems, and I think I may use espresso for the whole thing, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna put the details aside again for a moment. Let's line this up again. And you can kind of see when you are lining up your stencil, where the stems go, where the berries go, that kind of thing. And so I have, let me get my giant brown brush. I know it's big. I need to get out a smaller brush for my brown. And I'm just doing, the other thing that's on this one is the center of the flowers. I don't know. I'm going to move my stencil around a little bit here. I don't know what color I want the center of my flowers to be. Decisions. So it is a little gloomy this morning, but it's supposed to be nicer this afternoon. Thus, you know, the zoo. Steve really wanted to go to the St. Louis Zoo because, first of all, it's a huge zoo. It's gorgeous and it's free and it's near our pinball place. And so he was like, let's go and we can play pinball. And I'm like, but I want to go to Cake Bake. I want to blow my diet for a day and eat garbagey food. It's not really garbagey food. It's delicious food. But when you're on Weight Watchers, it feels wrong to like, oh yeah, like that. Okay, now decision about whether or not to do these that dark, or should I do them green, or should I do them in mink? Yeah, I think that Jen's gonna, while I decide, I'm gonna get my red back out. You guys help me decide what color those little branches should be. I'm getting out my red, the scarlet color in the darker, darker red, to do the detail on the flowers while I decide about the brown. Brown, mink, or green. That's the cool thing. You can do any color you have or want. So yeah, I think that Jen will end up calling in. They told her to call in for 2 days. She has 5 that she's never used. And I'm like, you're not calling in for 5. She's like, no, gosh. She's like, it feels so wrong. They're so short-staffed, and it even felt wrong for her supervisors to tell her to call in. But that is just a different way of working than how I grew up. It's just a different, to me, it's a work ethic thing that even the supervisors think it's okay. Different generation. So when we walk around here, Heather, we walk on the street with our dog, and you're always super hyper aware of traffic. And lately where people are driving so crazy, you have to be very aware. We've had to start walking in some of the bike lanes because actually, in reality, the bike lanes aren't used very much around here. The bike lanes are a little too close to the road, to the drivers. It needed to have, it's like they did a bike lane, they did a space and then a bike lane and then the road, and they should have put that space between the two. Okay, I'm going with brown. Yeah, I wish they would add more stop signs in our neighborhood. Not that it works. I gotta tell you, yesterday, all I did was run to the Dollar Tree that is near my house, and it's like a mile, if that. And I saw 3 cars run stop signs. They just blow through them. Some of them don't even slow down. Like, my God. And every now and then, I mean, I live right next to a school. So I'm like, where are the cops? And every now and then you'll see somebody clocking. But not often. Not often enough to stop people and slow them down. All right. I think I have our detail done other than the centers of the flowers. I could do those in brown. Can't decide. I should do them in yellow. What I'll probably do is stickles, to be honest. I'll probably do stickles. Okay. Ta-da! So you can see, you can get by with just red. Like if you wanted to, like I have another panel over here. I have one that I've been messing with. Let me just take this off here. You could just use red and do a light touch. Let me just set that aside to dry for a sec. You know, you could just do a light touch on your red instead of using 2 different shades of red. But I really kind of like the 2 shades. So like for the red, you could do a real light touch all over and then darken the center. Maybe it doesn't look all that different. And then when you compare, by the time you add all the detail, it's not that different. I like the richness of that desert rose. It adds a little more. I think you could use a peach or a pink also. All right, so what I want to do is I want to use this with that plaid. I hope I use the same colors. Yeah. All right. I think that's really pretty. I'll make it just like the other blue card. Let me just trim here. So I got my paper trimmer off camera because it's enormous. And I'll trim a little here. Gosh, this is really pretty. This is really pretty. I can't decide this year what Christmas cards to make. It's like, okay, do I use like pretty cards or do I want cute cards? Because I have cute cards too. And it's like, what am I gonna make? And who am I gonna send what to? And so I'm finding that I'm making a huge variety of cards. So I have some cute. Okay, now shimmer trim. I added a strip. I could do the green. That looks really pretty. This is pine. I could do white. I think it gets lost. Or I could do red. The red is really bright. I think I'll use the pine though. I really kind of like the pine on this. Do that trick where you leave a little plastic tail. All right. And then I'm just gonna trim it even, close enough. And then I just trim my big plastic tail down just to leave enough so I can use it next time without a struggle. Whenever I can do that, I do that. I don't always do that. Okay, and then I just need to, you know, decide on some images. I could do a big message. Pretty, pretty, pretty. This is really gorgeous. Now, just the stencil alone makes it gorgeous. The embossing folder makes it pop, makes it look dimensional. But you don't have to use the embossing folder. You can just do that on a flat piece of paper. And just with your inks and a little shading, you can make it pop. So I like the stickles on here. And let me grab one of my stickles. Let's see what color. I have diamond, I have platinum, I have icicles. I'll use diamond. My diamond is almost out because I use it all the time. And I like diamond because it's some of their white or clear stickles have a blue tone. Some are green, some are red. This one's a multi, and I think that's why it's my favorite. But basically, I'm just gonna put a little stickles on these. And then while I'm gone today, it will dry. And my card will essentially be ready for a message or an image. What a cool card base, right? I'm very tempted to get out my like red stickles and do the berries. So I'm just painting with my glitter gel. I'm just squirting it on and smearing it around. I'm not trying to make it real thick. I'm trying to make it real thin. And I'm at the end, near the end of my bottle here. Oh, man, I don't know if you can see that. Look. Shimmer. Gosh, that is... Okay, so it's worth it to get a little stickles. This is diamond. I think platinum would look good too. And then this one is the Stickles Gel, which I think has been sold out on the Close to My Heart website for a while. So beautiful. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get rolling. It takes me a couple hours to get there, so I need to get on the road and get my husband moving also. Thanks for watching, and Wednesday we are going through the new catalog as a walkthrough. And remember, if you decide you want to buy that, you know, embossing folder stencil set that I have, please message me and I'll be happy to add it to your pack or whatever when I mail. So cool. One winter, one Christmas. That's right. All right. Have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.